And welcome everyone to the Karate America Community Livestream. I'm Mrs. Quirk. With me tonight, of course, is Mr. Quirk, and we have special guest, Mr. Dan Hart, owner and founder of FitKidz USA. Mr. Hart, thank you so much for being on our live stream tonight, sir.
My pleasure. I'm actually honored, very honored to be on. You guys are mentors of mine, so I appreciate and honored to be on.
Awesome. Well, we are going to get into some pretty interesting topics, some pretty pertinent topics and advice for our family, students, community members watching here in a couple of minutes. But as always, my staff has announcements for me. So we got some pretty exciting things to go through before we jump into the topics tonight. Okay. First and foremost, we have, so here's the not so great one, but I'll get it out of the way right in the beginning. Our karate academies are closed for our 4th of July holiday. Our staff gets a break around the Christmas holiday and around 4th of July to spend some time with families, recharge their batteries. So we are closing our academies. Brookfield, Pewaukee, and Worldwide will have no classes, no operations July 5th through 9th. So if you are a student at one of our academies, Please don't go to class. We will be closed. We will reopen that week after the 4th holiday. Everybody have a safe and happy Independence Day holiday with their family and friends.
You can practice at home, by the way, and you can also go on the app and see some of the worldwide classes if you really want to take a class. So
that's right. If you're just like jonesing and you just cannot wait, like definitely go on the app and take advantage of all of our recorded content that we have. You can also go back and just, watch a live stream if you want to hang out with me and some of your favorite Karate America team members during that week off. Good point, Mr. Quirk. Speaking of Independence Day, sign up to walk with Karate America Brookfield in the Independence Day Parade on July 3rd. So it's for 4th of July, but the parade is on Saturday, July 3rd. So talk to Miss Hansen, Mr. Hansen, all of your team members at the Brookfield Academy. If you're not already signed up, it's going to be a beautiful day. I think it's going to be like, fingers crossed, I think it's going to be like 75 and sunny, not too humid, no rain. It's going to be a gorgeous day for a parade. All of our kids, students obviously need to march with an adult. So moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas, whoever wants to share in that really special memory and walk in that really nice 4th of July parade with our Brookfield team, make sure that you sign up for that. And we also have, guess what? Our Karate America Pewaukee families can sign up to walk in our Pewaukee parade. That one is actually on Sunday, July 4th. It's going to be in Pewaukee right there on the lakefront. That one's going to be a little bit more of a scorcher. I think you're going to have about 85 degrees and sunny for it. So make sure you dress accordingly.
It does go by the beach though. So
it is by the beach. It is by the beach. You get that nice breeze off the lake. So it'll be a really great parade day. Follow up with Mr. Kozlowski and your team if you'd like to walk in the 4th of July parade with Karate America Pewaukee. We have our underbelt graduation is coming up on July 24th. So at the end of the month, all of our underbelts, that's everybody black all the belts that are under black belt will be testing and graduating to their next belt rank on July 24th. And then of course, for our black belts, our master's team students, we have our STAR tests. So if you are not quite sure whether your student is graduating or on track or what's the deal with the July 24th ceremony, Brookfield families, Pewaukee families, and worldwide families, make sure you follow up with your team and find out what you need to do to get all that great information to have an amazing July 24th graduation. Those are always super, super exciting. We have the KA picnic Saturday, July 17th in Rotary Park in Menominee Falls. Please register on the app. This year, we are going to provide the desserts. We're doing a singly, individually wrapped dessert. So go on the app, let us know which desserts your family would like. And then all of you, our amazing families and students, bring your own picnic lunches, folding chairs, beverages. We have some pretty special entertainment surprises coming.
It's going to be awesome. Yep.
At this year's picnic, we have something we've never done before. We're really looking forward to it. It should be awesome. And all of our Karate America team are going to be there. Connect with new families, meet new people, introduce your kids to new friends. And the challenge this year, I think our instructors were talking about it, is to leave that picnic meeting at least one new family, make one new friend, one new connection. Go up to a new family. If you're one of our veteran families that this is like your 10th Karate America picnic and you know everybody, there are going to be families there that just are like, well, maybe we should go, maybe we'll meet people, and they might not know anybody. So walk up to a new family, a new student, introduce yourself and make some new connections in our Karate America community. It's going to be a great opportunity to do that. We have our cool days of summer. So I think we're in Funky Hair Week, right, Mr. Quirk?
I think we just finished with Fun Hair Week. Yeah,
I can't keep track. They're so fun. There's so much going on. Let's pop this up right here. Yeah, we got Fun Hair Week. When we come back, we're going to have Island Week, the week of July 12th, after our 4th of July holiday. So I'm sure there's all kinds of really cool island themed things planned for that week. Whether you are a student at one of our brick and mortar academies or our worldwide families, you and your kids should and can participate in those cool days of summer fun times. I love seeing the pictures up on our Facebook page for all of those. So, all right, as always, there's my announcements for my team. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I know some of my instructors will be texting me and emailing me afterwards for next time. So, which brings us to our amazing guest for tonight, Mr. Dan Hart. Again, we're really excited to have you with us here tonight, sir. Why don't you please, we're going to get to how we can leave comments and questions for you for the rest of our panel tonight, but please tell our viewers who don't know, what is FitKidz USA? What is that?
Sure. First of all, I want to apologize because I'm stuck in in an office where the lighting is bad and
Yeah,
you guys can't see me. I apologize.
that's real life. That's all right. We'll just roll
Right.
with
They're here for you, not the lighting.
it.
But you know, what we do is at FitKidz is we want to take a lot of the structural stuff from martial arts, and you know, I have a small martial art background, but I come from a wrestling background. But
Okay.
The avenue that martial art takes is, I believe, you know, so valuable to child development. So I wanted to take that, but I think everybody knows that the martial arts has a smaller, um, you know, participation rate. It's a small percentage of kids. So what I'm looking to do is try to find the normal bell curve where I can fit the majority of kids into a program where they're enjoying it, but they're also learning the valuable concepts of life skills and discipline and just everything that they need to learn in the 21st century.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like if we talk to the average kid, the average family, and it's changing a little bit, but still about martial arts, a lot of people are like, oh, not so sure about that, right? But fitness and just being active, it's like, yes, I'm in. Like, who can't we reach when we use that verbiage? Is that what you found?
Yeah, well, and then that, and then I think the whole child development part, where I think just with technology and societies, like we're learning so much about the brain and everything every single day that we could actually, like we know what's going on now, so we could actually use the science and psychology for child development to help with everything. So like we try to teach with everything in mind. Martial arts is a tremendous vehicle to use that. So I'm like, you know, if we can use that, and then if we can make it more mainstream, like how can we make it mainstream so we can just get more kids to help more kids develop? Because I think it's going in the wrong direction at the moment.
That's amazing. So the things that you're talking about with using that, the brain science and the development for kids, what walk us through what a typical, if we just walked into one of your facilities out there, brought one of our kids in, what would we experience? What does that look like in real time? What do you do with the kids?
So what we like to say is that we are like a child development center, but what we like to use is the benefits of play. So in all aspects, we like to use benefits in play in the child development, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and socially. But what I don't think a lot of the people realize is how impactful playing is, like in child development. In social interactions, you know, you're negotiating rules and regulations. So you're learning how to follow the rules. So you're learning how to self-regulate your emotions. You're learning how to resolve conflicts. So everything that we do is game-based, and it's guided by coaches, but it's more kid-based interactive, where they're learning how to socialize and how to just deal and manage with being a kid. I believe that we learned all this stuff when we were outside in the parking lot or the fields playing. But it's a different world. You know, it's the 21st century. Like you don't see that anymore.
Yeah. So you're kind of creating those environments and those scenarios for them then. For maybe kids that there's no more like go home and come back when the street lights go out. There's no more of that, right? So
well, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen it, and I'm sure the parents have seen it. If you tell a kid to like go play, like they're not going to just go randomly.
They don't know what to do.
Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, take a an average we'll say child maybe 8, and take them to a park and be like, hey, go play. And if there's 10 kids in the park, the majority of kids probably won't run over and be like, hey, what's up? My name's Billy. You guys want to play? Or what are you guys doing? Or can I join? A lot of kids are shy and timid. And if you never learn how to introduce yourself, like you guys were talking about with your picnic, like if you guys have an awesome family that's been around for 5 or 6 years, and they're welcoming, that like they're at the picnic, they're like the welcoming committee. They're like, hey, what's up? You guys are gonna have so much fun today. And then it's like, oh, it's a totally different picnic.
Right.
But if that family never learned, or if the mom or if the dad never learned how to be that confident and just social, just like, hey, what's up?
Yep.
Hey, welcome, guys. Or, hey, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Dan, which is a very valuable thing to learn. But I think with technology, and I think the last 16 months have had a huge regression on kids developing socially. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity to teach kids. I think schools are doing their best that they can. I think there's a lot of additional avenues for kids to help. But I think free time and playing and just having kids games is a great opportunity to build relationships and teach the kids how to socialize and teach the kids how to control their emotions and teach kids how to be confident and believe in themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting balance watching these kids after COVID, right? Because on one hand, there's a whole series of skills that they just haven't had to deal with for a year. That's interaction, right? But on the other hand, there's a whole series of skills that they had to develop that we never had to develop.
Oh yeah,
because of what they went through and the adaptability and how do they deal with technology? How do they create connections even when they're not face to face? And dealing with the stresses. I can't imagine being a kindergartner going to school for the first time last year, right? And it's just the stuff that they're not learning, but at the same time, it's this real interesting place of two truths. It's like, what are they learning? So a place like yours, a place like ours, where now, hopefully post-pandemic, right, they can come back in and they can start regaining those social skills, but they may be a step ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Even
and the same thing that I was telling my staff and my kids, does that help maybe? Is I'm like, guys, okay, it was a learning experience like with COVID and through every kid. Nobody's ever been through that. But I'm like, I'm like, that's awesome. You guys are going to go down in history. I'm like, you're the only kindergartners to ever do e-learning. You're like, literally.
Yeah.
You're going to be in the history books. So
I think it'd be like Gen C or like Gen P or something.
I love that. They're famous and they don't even know it.
Right.
Literally, I'm like when you guys are as old as Coach Dan, I'm like, you guys are going to be telling all the other kindergartners, you guys had to do this weird thing with the computers, and you're the only ones to ever do it. And then they, it changes their perspective, and they're like, oh my gosh, like e-learning is cool. But it's
that's fantastic. It's something they get to do then, right?
Right. It's the way that you like teach kids and educate them,
Yeah.
And that's what, getting back to what I'm learning a lot about, play, because I'm in school to get my dissertation and to play. So I'm getting my doctorate just to play all day. It's gonna be awesome. But what I'm learning through that is that it has so much like benefits throughout everything in life. Like everything that you learn in life, if you do it in a playful manner, your retention is so much more.
I want to hear more about that, but I want to pause right now. Just if anybody is joining us and you've come onto the live stream a little bit late, we are here live. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch with a special guest, Mr. Dan Hart from FitKidz USA out of New Jersey, right, sir? Yep. So he's on the East Coast, one of our very first East Coast guests, which is really exciting. If you have anything that we're talking about tonight, or that maybe you've looked up, because we announced that he was going to be our guest tonight and announced FitKidz USA. If you have any questions for Mr. Hart, any insight, anything that you want to share or ask him about anything that he's going to talk about on the episode tonight, he's an amazing resource and just a really, really inspiring leader out there making a difference for communities, for kids that need to have a difference made. So if you have any questions for him, here's how you do it. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, you don't have to do anything. You're already registered. Just go right in the comments and please let us know you're here. Let us know what you think of the dialogue. Let us know what questions you have for Mr. Hart. If you're on Facebook, you do have to do another step. So I think it's in the directions right above me. Just go in. We're on StreamYard. So you go in through StreamYard register and kind of click around. That way, StreamYard knows who you are. And when you leave a message in the comments, I'll be able to see your name instead of just random Facebook user. So if you have any comments, any questions for Mr. Hart, make sure that you drop us a comment. Let us know what's on your mind for him tonight. So Mr. Hart, say more about that. I kind of cut you off, but I want to come right back to where we pinned that. Say more about the learning through play.
Well, what I'm learning, right, and I you guys all know me, like I love playing. But it's not play mode for me right now because, like I said, I'm in school to get my doctorate in childhood education, but it's focusing on the value of the benefits of play. So, and it breaks down to, if you enjoy learning, it's from when you were a kid, and it's even the circle and the peg game with the triangle, and it's like you just try it until you learn that a triangle is a triangle, and then it goes into the little triangle peg. But you don't just try it once. So like it's literally you're learning, but you make it a game because they turn into like a playful thing, and it's what learning, the basis of learning is through play. However, once kids start getting like past like 3 or 4 years old, then it starts getting like academic, and then it's not fun anymore. And kids, that's when kids don't enjoy sitting in class, and all they want to do is go play at recess or play after school.
Yeah. Learning becomes a job, not the good stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's when their brain was active. That's when they're like, hey man, when I'm playing, that's when I'm having fun.
Yeah.
That's when I'm learning, that's when I'm going. But when I'm sitting down, I'm like, this is kind of boring. So like literally, like what we do is, we can incorporate learning into the play. So instead of saying these are the 4 corners, this can be the first 4 presidents, or this could be the presidents of the monument. So it could be anything like where you could like, okay, this is Washington corner, Washington, Jefferson corner. So this way you can do all that, like they can learn, but they're having fun and they're playing. So like their just openness to learn is so much different.
It's really strikes me, Mr. Quirk, of a lot of the things you talk about with students and with staff, both with getting people in state. Right.
Well, yeah, I think that's a Tony Robbins thing, right? But right, that concept of being in state, and yeah, once the juices get flowing, once we, if we're not engaged physically, mentally, and physically, we just don't retain it as long. I mean, sure, we can learn, but we don't hold on to it. Right.
And
not long term. Say again.
And it's not enjoyable.
Right.
And like, I mean, who wants to do stuff that's not enjoyable? Like if we all had to choose to do something enjoyable and not enjoyable, and
be a little concerned about the people that keep choosing the non-enjoyable things.
If the consequences were the same, we would all choose enjoyable. So I'm like, what we're trying to do is just make the same thing with fitness, with learning, with making friends, with resolving conflicts, with just the whole like child educational thing. We're trying to make it enjoyable for the child development part. And teaching the kids, like teaching them why they're learning. So
and then they start to look forward to learning too, right? So if they know the place that they're going to go, they're going to have fun and learn, they're more likely to go back.
Yeah.
That's why, we talk to the parents, and it's like, so you're going to look out and you're going to see a game of battle ball, or you're going to see like the instructors having fun and playing games. It's like, we can't help kids if they're not here. And kids won't be here if things are boring. So we want to make it play. Our classes, parents will sometimes say, but it wouldn't be better if it was like a private lesson or like 2 kids or 3 kids. No, kids love to play with 30 kids. They don't want to just play with 2, right? So,
well, and to your point earlier,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think to your point earlier about how kids even learn to interact with each other in a group, and sometimes we take it for granted that kids just know that, but they don't always, right? So even the classes where they're lining up and they're taking turns and they're working with partners and things like that, even in our facility, it's like that's a piece of it. I know, Mr. Quirk, you've referred to that over the years of. It's not great. People think, oh, it's great to have a class with like 3 kids. It's like, no, we don't want that, right? We want that interaction to build those skills.
Right. And what parents want, right? Parents want the skill to be taught. And for a lot of people, they think of it almost like math. It's like, sit down, do your reps until you get it right.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I mean, martial arts isn't that hard to teach, but it's really hard to teach if they're not there.
Or not engaged.
or even harder if they're not there. Right. So how do we get the kids to want to come back? How do we have fun? How do we, disguise the learning? And I think that's what it sounds like you're doing, Dan, is you're disguising learning with fun, which is perfect.
That was our first motto, was exercise in disguise.
I love it.
Like, all the fun activities that we do, because we obviously believe in the and the physical part. And like you said, having the kids engage and fun and playing the games, which, you know, is our physical part. But what they're doing is then they're more receptive to building a relationship. Then I'm open to this coach, and then you can just guide them. But like, hey, when I say run all the way to the line, you know, you don't want to cheat yourself. You want to make sure that you're actually running to the line. So, you know, since we're boys now, I can give you a little piece of advice. You know, just as a mentor, you know, and that's our main business model. But what we do is with the play side is we just make it everything enjoyable. And like you said, Jen, is if kids in a group are learning, like they can learn so much stuff from that group, how to resolve conflicts, how to lead a group. Because if you're going to play a game of kickball, you have to figure out where the bases are. So somebody's got to be like, you know what, this is first base, this is second base, this is third base. And then another kid's going to be like, all right, well, this is the home run spot. And the other kids are going to be like, okay, well, I'm going to be the pitcher. But they have to do that. Like they have to figure that part out.
They have to figure it out, yeah.
And
be a team.
Well, and then like it's the 21st century. Like kids aren't doing that now. Now they're involved in video games. Now the academics is in overdrive and a little over freaking load mode with the mathnasiums and all the crazy, like, and that's awesome. And I kids need to learn. So I want them to learn at any way possible. But then the sports mode and everything, like kids are getting overscheduled and they don't have enough free time where they're just learning how to socialize and be a kid.
Yeah.
And just who's going to lead if nobody's learning how to do that stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
So tell us about your story, Mr. Hart. How did you, I have a story created that you just didn't like come into the world, hatched, the owner and founder of FitKidz USA. How did you come to where you are today to be doing these amazing things? What's your story?
My story is, so like I said, first and foremost, I consider FitKidz a mentorship business. You know, I believe kids are so vulnerable at that age, obviously physically, but intellectually and mentally and emotionally and socially. And people just have like such an impact on kids, either, you know, parents or neighbors or anybody within, you know, close proximity of that child has like major impacts on that kid that last lifetimes. So, you know, I think we have an opportunity as mentors in this world that we can give back and share our life experiences with kids and help them to do the right thing so that they don't have to make as many mistakes, because we're all going to make mistakes. But I just think mentoring is like the best possible thing that you can do in life. The reason I believe that is because I've had, you know, two men in my life who literally changed my entire path. So, you know, I'll make the quick version. I'm like, I had a really rough childhood where, you know, my parents were in and out of jail, in and off of drugs, and I was moving around a lot. We're living in and out of hotels, and by the time I was like fifth grade, we were homeless. And my father, who lived in New Jersey, literally drove down to Florida where I was and kidnapped me and drove me all the way up to New Jersey. And that's how I became to live in New Jersey. Back then, they didn't really check mom and dad stuff. And I didn't see my dad for a few years, and he just randomly came down to kidnap us out of a school.
Wow.
So that part was a little weird. But but when I moved up here, you know, I joined the wrestling team, and my high school wrestling coach took me under his wing, and he started to guide me a little bit. And then my father actually passed away, and I was kind of on my own again, and I was homeless again at 17. And my high school coach, like, you know, took over that role, and he mentored me, and he didn't give me the option to, you know, go down the wrong path. Like, he's like, this is where you're going because this is the right way to go. And then I got to college, you know, and I got to the college version from my wrestling coach, and he took it to another level. And as an adult, he's like, this is where you go to develop, success as an adult. And those two guys just changed my entire life. So it's my obligation, it's my responsibility to give back and help kids. And I found FitKidz, through a crazy long path, but this is my way that I can give back, and I can provide mentorships to, in my mind, thousands and thousands of kids, to teach the coaches, to teach, our directors and our coaches and our, coaches in training, to just help kids, just to have a bigger impact on life, just to do the right thing. Because you can never have too many mentors telling you to do the right thing.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. If you are listening, viewing at home, if you're watching us now, leave us some emojis and let us know if you are impacted by Mr. Hart's story. I think that's pretty inspiring. And I think that it's really amazing. I feel like I'm going to ask you in a second here, like what is your background in martial arts? Because I think you said you did martial arts for a while. I hear that you're a wrestler and clearly an athlete. But what I hear too from a lot of martial artists is, and Mr. Quirk, your story is like this, right? This is how, when I was a kid, when I was a young person, I was at a crossroads. I had such and such going on in my life. It wasn't Ozzie and Harriet, or I was bullied, or whatever it might be. And this martial artist, this coach, this instructor reached out to me, and just there was a connection, and literally no drama. Everything was different after that. After these mentors reached out and made a difference in my life. And so 100%. I see a lot of parallels there, and that I know that's been true for you and pretty much almost everybody that we know, I think, in martial arts, right, Mr. Quirk?
Yeah, I think at some level. And Dan, what I love when you're telling your stories, I can hear purpose, I can hear passion in your voice. I mean, it's so sincere, it's just so authentic. You and I had a conversation about purpose, and you had actually hit kind of, I think, closely on what your purpose is. Do you remember what you told me, and do you remember what it is?
Oh, I know. I live my every day with my purpose. It's
okay. So I wasn't sure if that was like set in stone, or share it with us if you would, please.
Sure. If I can just get my phone, I got too many notifications on this thing. So my purpose is, it's on my phone. It's on the home screen. It just says that there are kids out there that cannot reach their full potential until I reach mine. So, I believe that I am a mentor in my life, and I believe, and I've had some, difficult life struggles, and I believe everybody should write a book because they've all overcome their own life struggles. I don't compare mine to anybody else because I'm not in their shoes. So I believe everybody's overcome life struggles, so we can just help guide kids. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not going through what you've been through, but I've been through challenges as well. So I just want to let you know that I'm here for you, or I can help you, or stuff like that. So it's just so important to just give back, because I've had people that helped me, and I wouldn't be where I was without people guiding me and just reaching down and picking me up.
It's crazy, those small little tweaks, right? Those small, just little directional changes. Well, huge impacts on people.
Well, and this is why I love the martial art community. And so after wrestling, after college, is right when the martial art, the UFC thing kind of blew up, and I'm like, oh, this is right up my alley. It's kind of fun. I wasn't in this situation when I was a kid, obviously growing up, to have the 3-day-a-week classes to go to a martial arts school. So I never went to a dojo ever. But after college, I was like, this fighting thing's neat, and I was like, oh well, let me try some wrestling and some boxing, and so I did some MMA for a little while. But I joined the martial art community because of what they teach, and I believe that the life skills that the martial arts community teaches is, a zillion times more valuable than the actual self-defense part. So I believe the teaching the confidence and teaching kids, resiliency, and perseverance is invaluable. So that's why I surround myself with the martial art community, because of what you guys teach kids. Like there's no other community like it. It draws me right to you guys. It's so cool.
Yeah, I actually met you at a martial arts down in Cozumel.
Yeah,
like Talks. Yep.
And that's what I think. Like, obviously we're entrepreneurs, but like the saying is, you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. But it's people that are on the same mission as you. So I'm like we met up and then we connected really quickly because I believe you guys are on a mission to give back and to help society, to help kids. Like, so I'm like, you could instantly tell and instantly like just connect with people that are going in the same direction.
Yeah. Purpose and values might not be identical, but they definitely resonate. They're definitely sort of in the same. Yeah, definitely. And I think, one of the things that Mr. Cork and I talk about over the years is just watching the news and watching social media and seeing what's happening in the world in our community, or, somebody was whatever, a jerk to the lady at McDonald's, or something as small as that to something as big as what's happening in the world. And we say, I think my whole life, I've always been of the mind of like, oh, I wish there was something I could do about it. Well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Right. That's like a saying like, what are you going to do? And for us, it's like, I really, truly believe, and I'm not educated and trained the way you are in child development by any means, but, I think a lot of adults are just are still carrying a lot of wounds and a lot of baggage and a lot of stuff when they were like 5 and 12 and 15 and 11, and they haven't. It's like there are a lot of unhappy people walking around out there that aren't treating other people very well because they don't really feel good about themselves. And sometimes I think that sounds a little bit cheesy, but I actually really believe that. And so with, Karate America and all of our programs, it's like if we can help people to believe in themselves and reach out to them and change, get to that 5-year-old, that 7-year-old, that 11-year-old before they become the adult that's really having an impact, in their relationships at work, wherever. That's what
it's generational. We've talked about it, right? It's generational.
Yes.
It's like, and now here's like the weird part. Like, you don't even know how quickly you can change somebody's whole entire life path. So, and I'll tell mine. Mine was 30 seconds. Like my high school coach changed my life path in 30 seconds. Like, so that's what I'm like. We have the opportunity to literally have generational change, and that's Jeff and saying, because I'm like, and my high school coach changed my whole entire life path in 30 seconds. So generational change in 30 seconds. Yeah. Because what it did is when I was a freshman in high school, I went out for the wrestling team, and I was really small, and I was getting my butt kicked. And after like a week or two, I jammed my finger and I quit. And I didn't go to practice for like a week or two. And I was hiding from my coach because he's really scary. It was scary, and I quit. Like, I just quit the team, and I was like, well, if I could just hide from him for like a couple months, then I'm good. and he found me in the lunchroom.
Forget about me.
Yeah, and he found me in the lunchroom. And he's like, "Hey, Danny, where you been?" And
like the lunchroom for 2 months.
I'm shaking, and I'm like, "Oh, coach," I'm like, my finger. I'm like, I broke my finger. I'm like, I gotta go to the doctor. And he grabbed my hand and he goes, for a finger, he's like, get back to effing practice. And I was so scared. I was like, yes, sir. And I went to practice that day, and then I like continued to practice, and I started to get good at wrestling, and it led me through my entire life path where I am today because of that 30-second encounter. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, man, like, and that's like when I say mentor, but that's what a coach, that's the impact that we can have. If he would have gave up on me in that 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean,
or didn't care enough to stop and actually talk to you or,
So, I mean, and Jeff, like, I'm very open with my story. This is what I believe in my whole entire body. I have an older brother who is 1 year older than me, who went through the same life circumstances that I went through, who didn't have that coach take that 30-second encounter and, last year my brother decided to take his own life because like he just couldn't handle the situation that life gave us. And, you know, he went down a different path, but you know, I had somebody who took 30 seconds out of his life, but he did not give up on me. And he guided me to go into a different way. And I'm like, man, like I have to give back.
Yeah.
Like I have to do that. And it's
And you can
2020
be that for other people.
and it's 2020, 2021. So I think I can do it on a bigger impact. You know, I think I could have, you know, I've coached at the high school level, but like I've opened a martial art thing. Like, believe me, no dojo like you guys do, like, you know, underground kind of thing. But but I feel like, you know, there's so many kids out there that we can have an impact on, and I'm like, and they need the help, like because it's lifetime, like it lasts, or like, it's insane.
Well, and yeah, you know, I'm really sorry to hear about your brother. Obviously, it's
I'm sorry for your loss.
Rough, and you know, I wish there were more people like you in the world, because there are a lot of people that are they need that push. They need that 30-second push. So man, whatever you're doing, you are going to be that for a lot of people. And that just, I'm proud to know you.
Yeah. And it's funny that you say like the 30-second. I was actually just like, you know, mindlessly the other day on TikTok, and there's this thing on TikTok that's like, somebody says, what's one sentence that somebody said to you once in your life and it just gutted you and you still are thinking about it? And these people go through, you know, and they're random sentences, they're random little things that somebody said. They mentioned that they're ugly, or they said that they can't carry a suit, like whatever it is. And these people as adults are sharing, and like some of them are like tearing up about one sentence that was just randomly said to them. So sort of
30 years ago.
Well, and share like what you're saying, but from the other angle is, you know, kids and people are faced with that one teacher or adult or peer that says something cruel or weird, or says like, yeah, you're never going to be any good at this. But if they're surrounded, to your earlier point, with mentors and coaches and positivity, you know, even though, I mean, we will encounter those people who you have these amazing mentors, there are also going to be people who are going to say awful things to us and try to bring us down. Right. And if we don't have that environment to go to of like, hey, just snap out of it. Like, you're awesome. You're going to be fine. I think that's really important too, because a lot of kids don't have anywhere to go after that awful thing is said to them, and that becomes their truth. Right.
And then, I mean, and we know like learning is repetition, or exposure. So the more you're exposed to something, either it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason why gangs exist.
Yep.
Because gangs do the same exact thing that we do, just for a negative outcome.
100%. They just got to them first. Yeah.
Right.
You know, we try to just do the right thing morally to have a positive outcome. They're just doing the wrong thing immorally to have a negative outcome. But they show the same exact things that we do.
Yep.
So, you know, it's really our job is to try to fight against that.
Right.
Because I mean, or affection between any other thing with drugs and alcohol. But it's just that love and connection that people need.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's our job to help.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like obviously like fit is in the name of your company. So it sounds like you're also a fitness expert, and that's kind of your wheelhouse too. Do you have any advice for parents that are listening? I know we have a lot of martial arts parents listening, a lot of kids in martial arts, but are always looking for ways to just stay fit and stay healthy. Do you have any kind of little advice or little things that you've learned along the way working with kids that's helpful?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, what I would say is make it fun. But what we try to incorporate is, once it's fun, then you can build relationships. So we incorporate everything we do in fitness, but it could be a race to here and back, you know, just to challenge kids, but making it fun. Then you can use that as an avenue to, even with parents, it's, hey, how was your school day? After you guys are racing to the mailbox and back. But if it's just get in your car and the kid throws his bag in the back seat and he's on his phone and you ask him how it was a school day, you're probably going to get a one word answer,
Mhm.
fine. Okay. But if you get home, let him have his screen time, because I believe kids do need screen times. So he's probably craving it. So especially right after school, give him his ride home, and then maybe make it like, hey, let's have a fun game real quick. Let's play horse or something, and then you could talk to him then, or talk to your child then. So anytime that you're doing something physically active and it's fun, that's a great opportunity to like build a relationship. Not when it's just quiet time, because that's when it's boring, and then it's just they're unreceptive to it.
Yeah. And what about that's great. And what about for our adults that are, looking for advice and tips from you? You come across as somebody who's very fit, has a lot of discipline, has a lot of structure when it comes to physical activity. Do you have any advice for adults who are having trouble maybe staying fit year round and having the discipline to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go running rather than just stay in bed and hit the snooze alarm, things like that?
You don't want to know what time Dan gets up in the morning.
I don't. No, I don't.
Well, it's a habit. So, I mean, that's just the thing. Like everything we do are habits. So, first thing I would do is would read like 2 or 3 books on habits. Like Atomic Habits is a great book. But what I would do is read a couple of that, so that way you could just start a couple basic habits where you're, if you're trying to live a healthier life, just fixing a couple things. What I physically just had this conversation with my workout partner is, I don't think people realize once you're in shape, it's easier just to stay in shape. So like if you're, if you're a runner, then you just run every single day. It's easier to run every single day. It's hard if you never run a day in your life to run every single day. That's the hard part, is to get the routine, get the habit going, either 5-6 days a week. And it doesn't have to be, for an hour or 2 hours. It could be 5-10 minutes. But if you're doing something every single day, if you do 50 burpees every single day, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to do burpees.
Weeks are going to be rough.
Nobody wants to do burpees because they're terrible. But if you did them every single day, like, you would be all right.
Yeah.
They're still terrible, but.
So it's almost like we talk about in martial arts. It's like at the really beginning belts. It's like, don't even worry about the technique. Like, you're just learning how to be a karate student, so that later you can do karate, right? Like, how do I come to attention? How do I tie my belt? What's an attention stance? Those kinds of things, right? And so what strikes me when you say about like reading the books about habits, it's like, for me as an adult, it's like, okay, how do I become a habit builder? So I become a habit builder, and that's what I do, and that's my thing. I do habits, and now I can be like, oh, physical fitness is one of them, nutrition is one of them, drinking water is one of them, right?
Yeah. And we all have habits.
That's
right?
smart. Yeah.
And it's not like we don't. We do. It's just whether or not they serve. Right? Are they the habits that are going to take who we want to be?
Helping you or hurting you.
So Dan, you were telling me, you get up at 4:30 in the morning, I think, and that's when you start exercising? Are you still on that schedule?
I'm at 3:50 right now. I'm trying to get it back down to 3:30. I was probably 3:30 before COVID, and then just the world went to craziness. So but I enjoy getting up early and getting a head start on the world. I like when it's dark out and I've read for an hour already, before the world's already opened up, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm competitive and I want to win. So, and like I said, like, there's playtime and there's work time. For me, in my mind, like right now is grind mode. So, I'm working on my education, I'm working on me, and I'm working on my business. So there's only 24 hours in a day. So I'm like, I got to do as many as I can.
Right. Yeah, we always say we can't actually manage time. We can manage focus and energy. So
right.
But it's also 9:46, and I'll be asleep in a half an hour.
There you go.
It's 9:46 for us.
You better be if you're getting up at 3:30.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're keeping you up. We gotta get some shut eye.
Yeah, 10 o'clock. Like 10 o'clock, lights, everything's out at 10.
I get it. I hear you. One of the last things I wanted to ask you about is, we talked a little bit about COVID, obviously. What has your business faced any challenges? What's different for you maybe today than when you first started the business? Like as a small business owner in the U.S. today, what's changed and shifted for you since COVID, or in the last maybe like 5 years or so? Anything you'd like to share, I guess?
Honestly, I think, and I've said it like 15 times because it just kept getting worse. And then I keep challenging myself. I think COVID personally was the best thing that's ever happened to me, because it put me in fight or flight mode, and in the first, I believe, in the first month or two, everybody was kind of happy. Oh yeah, we'll do the online thing. It's cool. Kids are on the e-learning. It's only going to be the 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, then it starts to wear and tear on you. And it's the fear of the unknown. Nobody really knows when it's going to eventually open. We had a second wave that was worse than the first wave.
Yep.
So one thing that I learned is I'm like, I cannot control the government in New Jersey. They shut us down pretty bad because we had some pretty bad numbers. And I'm like, okay, in it's a terrible situation. I can't control that, but I can control me. So that's when, I looked into see if I can get my doctorate in education, because I can make myself better. I can't control the business aspect right now if the government's shut us down or COVID and stuff like that. So I'm like, what can I do? So whenever, it's life. Like whenever you get knocked down, it's how are you going to rebound? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm down. And during COVID, I was down. And I'm like, well, I think in the future. So I'm like, well, how can I rebound? Well, if I can get my education, that will help. And I've learned some stock trading stuff, and it's a down market, so it's a good time to buy. So I'm like, okay, well, that will help me now. So I did a lot of stuff to educate myself, just to self-development during a down time. So I'm like,
so you come out stronger. Yeah.
So I feel like a stronger person. Like I feel like I'm more educated. I feel like I've been through a tremendous experience. I feel like I've learned a lot through leadership, and I'm like, okay, so I'm like, I don't want to do that anymore, but but I'm like, okay, so I've done that part. So now I've learned a lot from COVID that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Before I was kind of flying high, and then I was like, okay, I took things for granted, and then COVID, kind of hit you in your face, and I was like, but it kind of put a foot up your butt too, to say get going. So so I respect it, and I'm like, I like life challenges. I think they really challenge you. It's a challenge. Awesome. Like you get better, you overcome the challenge.
Yeah.
So,
it's very internal locus of control. I love it.
Yeah. We teach our team that all the time. So good.
Internal versus external locus of control. Yeah. So we are coming here to the end of our hour with Mr. Hart. So it's been a really great conversation. Mr. Quirk, is there anything you want to get in here before we go just to our closing announcements for the night?
I mean, I would just say check out, FitKidz USA. It's just FitKidZUSA.com, right? Is that what the website is? And our purpose is we inspire people to believe in themselves, and it's like I told you that. It's like I feel like there is an alignment with your purpose and our purpose. Right. Yeah. And so I can't, I know you personally, you're a good friend, and I would recommend you very highly to anybody in your area, and I know you're trying to expand, and that's fantastic. So please look him up, go to the website, check him out. Especially if you're in their area, you will not be able to find a better mentor. So
cool.
Yeah, and we'll definitely put in the comments the website, and if you are in the New Jersey area. Are you in any other states right now, sir? Or
soon, right? Well, we're looking to Florida as well, but I plan on licensing and then franchising in the tri-state area, and then going down the East Coast.
All right. So if you are in the New Jersey area or sounds like anywhere out on the eastern seaboard, make sure that you keep your eyes out for FitKidz. And we'll definitely put that the website and contact information in the comments for our live stream tonight. So if you have friends or family members, even if you're watching from Wisconsin, that could benefit from that, make sure that you send them Mr. Hart's way. I don't think that they could do much better than him and his team out there. So before we go, I did want to I said we're going to have a special announcement about our live stream tonight. We do have a special announcement. We are actually going to be shifting. This is the last surprise. This is the last weekly live stream that we're going to be doing. This is actually good news. So everybody just breathe. We're still going to be doing our live stream. We're just not going to do it on Tuesday nights anymore. We're not going to do weekly. We're going to shift it to probably do it something like maybe like every month, every 6 weeks. The reason is we have some really exciting people coming up in our company, some really young, creative people that can do amazing things on our YouTube channel. So we want to provide a little bit more dynamic content, a little bit more pragmatic, practical content for our students and for our families, like how do you tie a belt? How do I get ready for graduation?
Right.
What does Mr. Peeper do? What does he eat for breakfast? Like all kinds of things. Like we have so much content to give you. And we're moving into a place where we have, and by we, I mean other people on the team, have the talent to actually put together some really cool dynamic content for you. So stay subscribed to our YouTube channel, be watching for our content, but this will be the last weekly live stream that we'll do. This has been an amazing journey. We started doing these weekly live streams for our families in February. So thank you so much for making this such a success. I know I've had a really good time. Mr. Quirk, you've been my co-host for many of the episodes. Mr. Hart, you didn't know that you were going to be like a special guest on the last weekly live stream, right? Now you're live stream famous.
Yeah, making history.
You just drop the mic with Mr. Hart. That's our last guest. So
good one to end on, right?
Making history. I like it.
Yeah, so thank you everybody, to all of our families and all of our viewers. Keep watching us on YouTube. Stay tuned for what some of our amazing team members have planned for really, really impactful content on our YouTube channel. But this is the last Tuesday night that I will say this. Thank you so much.
And we have a really exciting announcement coming at the end of summer too, like in the fall time too. So just keep watching YouTube. So more information coming out.
There's all kinds of stuff brewing on this YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, you got to hit that subscribe button. I think we're up to like 146 subscribers. We're still in June. We can do 150 subs by the end of June. Come on, guys. We just need like 4 people to click that subscribe button. So come on, help us out. But thank you so much for your support. Everybody have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. Thank you again to Mr. Dan Hart so much for your inspiring story tonight, sir. Everybody have a great rest of your week. Take care, guys.
Thank you.